Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome back to my channel, and for all my new subscribers, I'm Natalia Suri and I do everything related to books, from author interviews, book reviews, book recommendations, everything. Plus, the bonus is you will find my sessions about occult sciences, especially witches, tantrics and many more. But today it's about astrology. I really doubt if there is anyone out there who has never been to an astrologer. We have always been to an astrologer at some given point in our life, whether it was for marriage, whether it's for children, whether it's for that job, and whether it's for some illness. Today, my guest is Maniza Ahuja. She would have been the CEO of a company, but she opted for her passion of astrology. Her mentor is none other than the living legend, Mr. K.N. Rao. A lady whose mentor is Mr. K.N. Rao needs to be perfect, isn't it? I'm sure. But my questions today are, how accurate is astrology? If somebody is a twin, we see one twin prospers and the other doesn't prosper so much. Why is it so? Are there any remedies in astrology? What if our time of astrology is wrong? We have always heard people saying, I'm not sure about my time, and many more questions. So come, let us talk to her on this aspect of astrology. Come. Hi ma'am, thank you so much for joining, and it's really a pleasure meeting you today.
Thank you. Same here, Natalia.
Ma'am, astrology has always intrigued me. So my first question is, you were VP with Hindustan Times and Percept Media. So how did, from that life, you get into astrology?
See, I had been studying astrology. I mean, it's been many long years that I've been studying astrology. So since 2005. While I was in the corporate world, while I was, doing many things and at very senior positions with Ogilvy, Bharti Walmart, Hindustan Times and Percept. But my guru, my spiritual guru, he had told me this in 2015, that you will have to leave your job because your destiny has something else in store for you. Even though you are still running away from it, you're, into this corporate, scheme of things. But life is something else in store for you, and you know it. Deep inside, you know it. But you continue to, you're killing yourself a little every day by doing what you're doing. But you have to move out of this hole to really feel the freedom, the peace and the calmness. And you have to do a lot for other people. You have to eventually guide a lot of people, and that will happen. And the knowledge is already, there with you. You've been studying it for a decade. That he told me in 2015. I heard him well, but I didn't agree to it completely. I said, okay, but what will I tell my parents? I'm a VP. I should probably be a CEO I know those were. So anyway, 2015, he told me this. I took up another job in 2001. I suffered a paralytic attack in 2015 end. And I miraculously survived it. He again told me that this is another sign of things that you are not meant to do what you're doing. Then this job offer came from Percept. I had decided that I will do astrology, but then this offer just walked, into my life, and I told my guru that, I was not looking out, but this came to me. He said, the fact that you are discussing it with me shows that you are interested in doing a job still, in spite of my telling you. So I said, if you tell me, then I won't even go for the interview. He said, now that you have told me that something has come up, go for the interview. I went for the interview. The job was mine. I took it up, and then many things, I myself was at a crossroads of sort, and I knew that this was not, I was not in it for a long time. And then in 2018, early 2018, I gave up the job, and I told him that now I'm absolutely with you, and I will. And I know that I've that I will never look back. I've made that one mistake. I will not look back now. So he said, the call is still yours. I am just telling you, I told this to you in 2015. You've taken 3 years to follow my advice. But I'm happy that you've sowed those wild, thoughts or those wild seeds of doing a job and, making a mark of yourself, making a mark for yourself. So then I completely moved into astrology. I still do a bit of consultation work for the UP government, and that's very close to my heart. I started doing it when I was with Percept. We won a lot of tenders at Percept, and I got in touch with those people, and they still call me for work. And because it involves going to Ayodhya, going to Banaras, so it is in I should say it's in the right direction. I love doing that work, and so that's the way it is. So I decided to completely listen to him, and somewhere deep inside, the temptation or the any remnants of ambition in terms of moving up the corporate ladder just completely sort of died away, and that's it. I've given a long answer to your first question, but I guess it was so that's that.
Ma'am, my second question is, since you're into astrology, how do you calculate from the time of birth? Sometimes what happens when a child is born, the sister comes in late to write down the time of birth, or perhaps the doctor has noted the time of birth maybe a few minutes late, and I am being told that at every second minute or third minute the patrika changes. So how do you calculate it then?
Okay, see, so there are 3 things to this really. There is bhusparsh, when the child is removed from the mother's womb and put down, bhusparsh, the first sparsh of the earth element, the cutting of the umbilical cord, and the first cry. Okay, when the child cries. So these are the 3 times that can be picked up. Now, normally the time that comes to us is or the doctors, what they note is usually when the child cries. Even that can be 5 minutes up and down, because the time is never 10:15 or 10. It's never 10:13 or 10:07. It'll either be 10 or 10:15. They cover the arc. Yeah. So what I normally do to check that we have the correct time is, whenever I do a reading, I ask if it is a married person, then I ask for date of marriage, date of first childbirth, profession, and father's profession or number of siblings. Why? Because Dwadashamsha is a very fine varga to correct the timing. The profession of the father can come from there. If there's a tragedy to the parents, that can be corrected from the Dwadashamsha. If there is a first child, it can be corrected from the Saptansha. And of course, the marriage from Navansh. And if it's a larger degree cusp, that can be done with the number of siblings. So we look at the Dreshkon. So I always, take these 4 timing of events to connect the dots so that the time that I'm looking at is correct. So that it's not, it could be in a range of, 1 or 2, but it shouldn't be like 15 plus or minus. So you take 4 events and do the correction in the Vargas, and that's how you arrive at the time. That's the way to do it.
Okay. Ma'am, how is Indian astrology different from Western astrology? Like we have this Rahu, Ketu, Shani. These are those demonic planets which we have. So in the Western astrology, how would you say that calculation differs from Indian astrology?
See, the nodes, which is Rahu, Ketu and Saturn, are the same for them and us. The difference, and I will not call Saturn demonic, because Saturn is the representative of Kal Chakra. Jab tak, koi bhi event ko fructify hone ke liye, any event to fructify, you need the blessings of Saturn. So you will realize that even for marriage and childbirth, Saturn will fructify the event, because it is the Kal Chakra itself. So therefore, if it is demonic, it will not even fructify an event. So it's not demonic. That's one. How Western and Indian astrology is different is that we follow something called the Nir-Ayan or sidereal zodiac, and they follow something called the tropical zodiac. Now, there's a world of difference between the two, but I would just give you one point here. Ours is a far more evolved and mature system because we take into account a movement of the earth which happens when it rotates on its axis. Therefore, Chaitra Shukla Pratipada, which is basically what the Westerners celebrate as the vernal equinox, is never on the same day. They usually celebrate on 22nd April. For them, vernal equinox is equal to 0 degree Aries. But for us, we look at the precession of equinoxes because the vernal equinox is moving westward on the ecliptic every year, almost to the tune of 50.29 seconds of arc. Technical, and this correction of the westward movement of the equinox is called the Einansh. Even the naval ships' astronomical data takes into account Einansh. Western system does not take into account Einansh. We make that correction, and then the Chaitra Shukla Pratipada falls usually in the last week of March or the first week of April with that correction happening. So that is the beauty of the Narayan system. And astronomical data and what you see, in the Panchangs is aligned. It's not like, they are saying something else, we are saying something else. Western astrology, for them today, Saturn is in Aquarius. But we know, or in the last year, the December last week eclipse, Saturn was in Sagittarius. But according to them, Saturn was not in Sagittarius at that point in time. So they are way off in their calculations. Way off. Not just a little, way off.
Ma'am, which is more precise?
Definitely the Sidereal system. Definitely the Vedic Indian system, which takes into account Ainansha.
Okay. Ma'am, it is said that birth... please continue.
I'm saying a lot of people don't know this. I put something on the internet the other day. I was writing a tweet and I said that, I did not look at the dates. I just tweeted that, it's a classical principle that a temple, a large scale temple will, normally when Jupiter is in Aquarius, a temple will, see its final, manifestation. So when somebody was talking about the Ayodhya temple, when it will be done and ready, I said when Jupiter will be in Aquarius. So somebody is now quoting Western astrology and saying, oh, but Jupiter is already in Aquarius. Somebody is saying it's in. So it's not just the precession of equinoxes that defines the degree of the sun. But this entire transit of other planets, that goes haywire because of a faulty system. God bless them. I'm not saying some there are Western astrologers who have studied from my guru, Ken Rao sir, Mark Boney and some other people, and they do some fantastic astrology. So I'm not saying that all of Western astrologers are like that. Some are brilliant.
Okay. Ma'am, it is said marriage, birth and death, nobody can predict. What do you say on this?
Divinity decides to extend it, but the person will go through Mrityu Tulya Kashta in that time frame. If you're not able to give the precise, time, that if you give a yoga, in that yoga, definitely something to that tune will happen. So if marriage does not happen, the person could be he or she could come very close to marriage, but eventually that doesn't happen. In terms of death, when you make a prediction and you say this is a difficult, so we don't say this is death, we say this is a difficult period. So when the difficult period comes, it will be Mrityu Tulya Kashta. So one shouldn't say this person is going to go. We just say this is a difficult period. So in that period, because at the end of the day, you're right, divinity will prevail and the person will either pass through that tunnel of pain or just move on from the mortal world.
Okay.
Yeah. So the prediction is just the extent sometimes of, that could be.
So you're trying to say that for marriage, birth and death, they try to say that this is the time where something may happen, something may materialize or something may go your way?
No, not really. I'll put it this way. See, our astrology is very detailed. We look at, I've seen a lot of Pandits look at just one chart and say, अब आपका योग आ रहा है शादी का, ठीक है? उसमें नहीं होता. But when you very finally calculate and do everything, and then in that period, if we say that, then the person will either get engaged or will have will have some relationship with someone which might not move into marriage, but it'll be there will be some sort of a romance or whatever. Something will happen, even if it's an arranged thing. Parents would have completely, and then it might not be strong enough to board the train, but they would come to the station. That's my point.
Okay. Ma'am, what the chart says is fixed for a person according to you, or this law of attraction, which is the current scenario which is there, and these affirmations which are there, can they change a person's destiny?
See, the point that horoscopy works, it's a blueprint of the skies at the time of the birth. The fact that when you were born, if I look at that chart, I can tell you 50 years hence what would be the situation. That itself is a proof of prarabdha. So the horoscope is actually a proof of prarabdha. But if everything was prarabdha, then people would exhaust their karma and everybody would be, attaining moksha. But there's something called kriyaman karma. But what does the Gita say for kriyaman karma? Gita says कि kriyaman karma का जो दायरा है वो उतना ही है जो एक खूंटे से बंधी गाय का दायरा है ना, पेड़ के आसपास घूमने का. That is the contour, or that is the dimension, that is the radius that you have of kriyaman karma within the variables of larger variables of prarabdha. So what you do as kriyaman karma can alter prarabdha. So spiritual remedies, mantra chanting, doing good, charity, jap, tap, dan, this is all part of kriyaman karma. So kriyaman karma has the potency to sculpt the prarabdha. Okay, but prarabdha is also drid prarabdha, adrid prarabdha, drid adrid prarabdha. You cannot change drid prarabdha. That you will have to suffer or exhaust. Drid adrid, you can make a bit of a change. Adrid prarabdha can be removed. No, but so what is drid and what is adrid is in a very fine realm. So we always recommend do good, be good. And always the fact that you're breathing, you're part of a larger cosmic scheme of things. So always remember that the very next breath is a blessing. So always utilize it well. And remember the higher, the name of the Lord in whatever form. It's not this form or that form, whatever form. And you will, आप भव सागर को पार कर देंगे. कलयुग केवल नाम आधारा. I always use that line. Yeah.
Ma'am, do remedies work only for Indians? For example, an American comes to you and he has certain problems in his chart, and I have heard the Pandit saying कि आप हनुमान चालीसा पढ़ लीजिए या आप दुर्गा सप्तशती पढ़ लीजिए. Now you cannot express a Westerner to read the Hanuman Chalisa or the Durga Saptashti. So what remedies do you give such people?
See, a person is a foreigner. That is a demographic truth. It is not an existential truth. The existential truth is that, in him also the Agni Tattva is responsible for metabolizing. The Prithvi Tattva is responsible for some other work. The body works, the body is a microcosm of the macrocosm. Be it a foreigner, be it a Hindu, a Christian, a Sikh or a Muslim. The variables of the body are the same. बट उस पे जो आप आवरण डाल देते हैं रिचुअल के, वो शक्ति को डिफरेंशिएट कर देती है. दैट्स अ वेरी लार्ज एनीवे डिफरेंट टॉपिक. बट सो आई वुड नॉट, सो व्हेन फॉरेनर्स कम टू मी, आई डू नॉट टेल देम टू रीड द हनुमान चालीसा. आई विल गिव देम वन चौपाई ऑफ द हनुमान चालीसा, जस्ट वन चौपाई they can remember easily. For the Durga mantra, just one mantra, one line mantra, Om Dung Durgaye Namah. That's enough to, it has the potency of doing the whole bit. Okay, or if they are a little more, they have a little more purusharth, they want to do some more, then you give them the Sapta Shloki Durga, give them 7 shlokas of Durga. That is like doing the whole Durga Saptashati, or the Chatushloki Bhagavad, that's like doing the full Bhagavad Puran, or just a line, a simple line, a mantra, or ask them to do charity. Tell them to, help people in old age homes. That'll work for certain. do some donation for widows, whether it be the widows of Vrindavan or something that will, help in curbing Saturn. So even charity, jap, tap, daan. So daan is important. Charity is important. Help other beings. Help other existence. That in itself is a spiritual remedy. Remedy need not be putting something under that tree. Plant trees is a beautiful remedy. You need not know any mantra. Plant 10 people trees. Plant 10 bargad trees and plant, people and bargad is good. So I'm saying there are various ways of doing it. I mean, what I would recommend for, a different planet, for Venus, it could be the Amla tree. So it works in various ways. It need not just be the mantra. It need not just be confined to the mantra as a spiritual remedy. Even that can be activated while the others are activated.
Okay. Ma'am, my next question is, if a twin child is born at the same time but two different destinies they have, why so?
See, okay. देश काल पात्र, ओके. कई बार क्या होता है कि दो लोग एक साथ जन्म लेते हैं, एक राजा के घर में और एक झाड़ू वाले के घर में, ठीक है, like a maid. So one has taken birth in the king's house and one has taken birth in the cleaner's house. Okay. Now you will say, how could they be born in the same, time, and he will become a Chakravarti Raja and this one will become, So, but the yoga will be such that he will become the Raja and he will become the head among the cleaners. Because the Raj Yoga will not, differentiate. But as I said, the Prarabdha, the contours, the womb that you're born out of is the first stamp of Prarabdha. Okay? So in terms of the twins, suppose one dies and one is alive, you will say, to ek saath paida hoye kaise? So remember, there's duality, there's duality of this, right? So there two were born. So there will be Arishta. The Arishta affected one child and one was able to pass through. Had it only been one, he would have been, decimated by the power of the Arishta. Arishta is, a bad influence or a malefic influence at the time of birth. So one took the effect and the other moved on. But the Arishta was suffered. And as I said, Desh Kal Patra. Every soul has a destiny of its own. Yeah. So that some things are, destiny is inscrutable. You can't read everything about it. Now there's an embryo that, goes away in 7 months. Now, what was his destiny? Yeah. That he did not come out and, breathe the air, but died within the womb. Perhaps, he had to partake of the mother's blood and flesh for 7 months and then move on. So you cannot. So some things are inscrutable, but I've sort of given you a picture of how it works.
Ma'am, I have another question. Past, every second astrologer can predict very correctly that, this all has happened in your past. Future, they go wrong. Why is it so?
So, because I think in today's age and time, 80 to 85% is fraud, okay? So, people should be, I predicted that, this fortnight there will be rain. So, it was raining in those fortnights. We had a cyclone. So, Arvind Kejriwal will become CM. He became CM. Narendra Modi will win 2019 election. He did win. As I'm telling, Narendra Modi will win 2024 also. Now you will see that will happen. So, I'm predicting the future.
So, ma'am, according to you, they are not so well versed with the knowledge of astrology, so that is why they can't predict the past.
Yeah, I think I personally feel that a decade in the subject, before you invest a decade in the subject, you should not do much. The second is, there are people, and I know these people who have spent 15 years, some have even spent 18 years, and they know very little of the subject. Very little. So it is also, you have to be one with the subject. One. If you flirt with the subject will also flirt with you. It will give you something and you will not know. You have to, it's almost like, being one with it. You have to breathe it. You have to live it. If you breathe it and you live it, तो जैसे कहते हैं ना कि ग्रंथ की कृपा होती है आप पे, तो विद्या की भी कृपा हो जाती है आप पर. But you have to rever it and honor it and believe it so fully and be so. It's almost like a union of sorts. Then there is kripa of the vidya, and you will be able to, it's not like कि मैंने इसे अपनी जीविका के लिए किया. I'm doing it for earning, whatever. So there has to be an honesty, a truthfulness. That, kind of takes it to another level. How many individuals?
Yeah, no, please continue. Yeah.
So this is Kali Yuga. So a lot of people would, just do it for a cushy life, to lead a cushy life, make a lot of money and lead a cushy life. But then, then there's a boomerang effect as well. Yeah.
Okay. Ma'am, my last question is, when will the corona end? This is, I think, every person on this earth wants to ask, when will corona end?
In March, I had done a video which is on YouTube when the numbers were in double digits in India, and I had said August and September. September, it'll come in control. I was trolled on Twitter and said, "Aap aisa kaise keh sakti hain? Abhi to March hai." I had then in March predicted that from the 15th of May and from June, the numbers would go berserk. That is happening now. People said on YouTube, there are comments that are telling me, I challenge you that the numbers will go down on the 15th, after the 15th of May. I'm telling them, I'm much senior to you. Remember to apologize when the numbers go up. Now you tell me the numbers are, and those videos are up on YouTube. They were up in March only. My Twitter, tweets are up. So it's not that I'm saying it now. Now it's very easy for everyone to say, August, September. But in March, it was very difficult for everyone to say August, September. September really, but it'll trail through. After 30th of June, there will be even more casualties. I'm putting that on record for you. Yeah.
Ma'am, so should we say that by mid-August, it will start going down?
No, after September, I would say. End of August is what I say. So September. After September, see, when Rahu Ketu move into the other axis, there will be lessening of. So I would say September end, mid-September end to be sure. But from there, it'll trail through. Yeah. So there you will have some few cases still in October, November, and then it'll move on, move out.
Move out. Okay. Ma'am, it was wonderful talking to you for the insight on astrology which you have given, which very few people share so honestly. And I really found it a very big learning on the subject of astrology. Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
So guys, I was in conversation with Maniza Ahuja. You have any questions? My email address is given below. Don't forget to tune in my next video, which I'll be posting in very soon. And yes, you know what you need to do. You need to press that subscribe button. And yes, do check out my blog, www.nataliasuri.com, where I post in a lot of articles and religious mysteries, plus the ones which will make you laugh till you drop. My recent one is with Sushant Singh Rajput and Kangana Ranaut on nepotism. Now, how would you define nepotism? For me, it's a chair made by a rich dad according to the ass measurement of their son or daughter, whoever it is, we don't know. But yes, that is how I would define nepotism. Do check out my blog. The link is provided. And yes, do tune in my next video, which I'll be posting in very soon. Keep smiling because you look beautiful when you smile. And yes, lots and lots of love. Take care. Bye.